She trusted her. She trained beside her. She defended her in every interview, every press conference, every whispered locker room rumor. And then, in one single moment, on center court, everything shattered. What started as a quiet doubles partnership turned into the most talked-about meltdown of the season. Fans watched in real time as two rising stars, once inseparable, became bitter rivals in front of thousands of cameras. Nobody saw it coming, but once you hear what actually happened behind closed doors, you'll understand exactly why she finally broke. Mia Sanders and Talia Reyes were the kind of doubles pair that commentators dreamed about. 2 years ago, nobody expected the quiet, disciplined baseline player from a small coastal town to click so perfectly with the flashy, aggressive net rusher who had grown up in the spotlight since she was 12. But somehow, it worked. They won 3 consecutive titles together, celebrated birthdays on the road, and shared hotel rooms during long tournament stretches across 3 continents. Fans created fan pages dedicated to their friendship, dubbing them the Unstoppable Duo. Journalists loved interviewing them together because their chemistry was undeniable, the kind of natural rapport that can't be manufactured for cameras. Mia often described Talia as the sister she never had, telling reporters that having a true friend on tour made the loneliness of professional tennis bearable. Talia, in turn, credited Mia publicly for helping her regain confidence after a devastating injury that nearly ended her career at 19. Behind the scenes, though, cracks were already forming that nobody outside their inner circle could see. Coaches noticed subtle tension during practice sessions. Training partners whispered about disagreements over strategy, over who deserved credit for their wins, over sponsorship deals that seemed to favor one player over the other. Mia's team began pushing for a singles career, arguing she was wasting her prime years splitting attention between doubles and solo matches. Talia, meanwhile, had quietly signed a lucrative new sponsorship deal that some insiders claimed created friction, since it positioned her as the face of their partnership despite their supposedly equal standing. Media player addressed these rumors publicly. Both continued smiling for cameras, continued crediting each other in interviews, continued playing brilliant tennis together on court. But those closest to them knew something had shifted. The warmth that once defined their friendship had cooled into something more careful, more calculated, more performative. It was the calm before a storm that nobody, not even their closest friends, could have predicted would erupt so publicly and so painfully in front of an entire stadium. The tension finally surfaced during a semifinal match that should have been routine. Mia and Talia were leading comfortably in the second set when a disputed line call changed everything. Talia disagreed loudly with the umpire's decision, gesturing toward a mark on the clay that she believed proved the ball was out. Mia, standing at the net, said nothing, choosing instead to let the call stand and move on with the point. To spectators, it seemed like a minor moment, barely worth noting. But to Talia, it felt like betrayal. She later told a close friend that Mia's silence in that moment represented something much larger, a pattern of Mia refusing to fight for her, refusing to stand beside her when it mattered most. Their body language noticeably changed for the remainder of the match. Fist bumps between points became stiff, distant, almost obligatory. The playful banter that once punctuated their changeovers disappeared entirely, replaced by tense silence as they sat on opposite ends of the bench, staring straight ahead. They won the match, advancing to the finals, but the celebration felt hollow, forced, nothing like the genuine joy fans had grown accustomed to seeing from them. Reporters covering the tournament noticed immediately. Several journalists began asking pointed questions during a post-match press conference, probing gently at the visible shift in dynamic. Both players deflected, insisting everything was fine, blaming the tension on nerves and the pressure of a crucial match. But insiders close to the team began leaking details to select media contacts, describing a growing rift that had been building for months beneath a carefully maintained public image. Sponsors grew nervous. Their joint endorsement deals depended heavily on the narrative of unbreakable friendship, and any hint of discord threatened contracts worth millions. Behind closed doors, meetings were held between agents, publicists, and coaches, all desperately trying to manage a situation that was rapidly spiraling beyond their control. Talia, feeling increasingly isolated and unheard, began confiding in other players on tour, seeking validation and support outside her partnership with Mia. Word of these conversations eventually reached Mia, who felt blindsided and hurt that her closest friend on tour was discussing their private struggles with outsiders. The stage was set for something much bigger, something that would explode into public view during the very next tournament, in front of the entire tennis world. The finals arrived, and with it came the moment everyone would remember for years afterward. Mia and Talia were down a set, struggling to find their usual rhythm, when a communication breakdown during a crucial point led to a costly double fault. Talia, visibly frustrated, threw her hands up and said something under her breath that television cameras couldn't quite capture, but that courtside microphones certainly did. Mia's expression changed instantly. She walked toward Talia during the changeover, and what followed was a heated exchange that stunned everyone watching, both in the stadium and on television screens around the world. Mia's voice rose sharply above the ambient noise of the crowd, accusing Talia of undermining her for months, of taking credit for their shared success while quietly working to secure a singles career that would leave their partnership behind entirely. Talia fired back just as intensely, accusing Mia of hypocrisy, pointing out that Mia herself had been in private talks with a different potential doubles partner, someone who supposedly offered better prospects for major titles. The umpire had to intervene, reminding both players that time was running and their opponents were waiting. Play resumed, but the damage was already done. Their coordination completely fell apart for the remainder of the match. Communication ceased almost entirely, replaced by curt gestures and avoided eye contact. They lost the match in straight sets, a devastating and humiliating defeat considering how dominant they had been throughout the tournament leading up to the final. Social media exploded within minutes. Clips of their heated exchange spread rapidly across every platform, accumulating millions of views within hours. Hashtags trended worldwide as fans debated who was in the right, dissecting every angle of footage, every lip-reading attempt, every leaked detail from anonymous sources claiming insider knowledge. Sports commentators dedicated entire segments to analyzing the collapse of what had been considered tennis's most beloved partnership. Media player addressed the incident directly in the immediate aftermath, both retreating from media obligations and canceling scheduled interviews. Their silence only fueled further speculation, with rumors ranging from financial disputes to allegations of sabotage to whispers about personal betrayals that went far beyond the tennis court itself. In the days following the very public breakdown, the fallout proved far more extensive than either player anticipated. Their management team scrambled to control the narrative, releasing carefully worded statements that acknowledged tension while insisting the partnership remained intact. Few people believed it. Sponsors began quietly reviewing their contracts, some reportedly considering exit clauses if the situation continued to deteriorate publicly. Talia gave a brief interview to a trusted journalist, choosing her words carefully, but ultimately confirming that she had felt increasingly sidelined within the partnership, that decisions about their schedule, their branding, and their future had been made without her full input. She stopped short of naming specific grievances but made clear that trust had eroded significantly over recent months. Mia remained largely silent publicly, though sources close to her camp suggested she felt equally betrayed, particularly by reports that Talia had been exploring other partnership options without informing her directly. Former players and commentators weighed in extensively, many sympathizing with the immense pressure that comes with maintaining a public partnership while navigating individual ambitions, competing sponsorship interests, and the natural strains of spending nearly every week together for years on end. Others criticized both players for allowing personal issues to affect their professional performance so visibly, arguing that true professionals should separate emotion from competition regardless of underlying tension. The tennis world remained divided, with fan communities splitting into passionate camps defending one player or the other, each convinced their preferred athlete had been wronged. Their coaching staff attempted several mediation sessions, hoping to salvage a partnership that had brought both players significant success and financial security. Reports suggested these sessions were tense, emotional, and ultimately inconclusive, with both players expressing genuine hurt but neither willing to fully reconcile their differing perspectives on what had gone wrong. Meanwhile, tournament organizers for the upcoming season began quietly preparing contingency plans, uncertain whether the pair would continue competing together or whether this very public unraveling marked the definitive end of tennis's most captivating doubles story. Weeks later, more details finally emerged, painting a fuller picture than the dramatic courtside clips had initially suggested. multiple insiders confirmed that the core issue extended far beyond a single disputed line call or a heated exchange during a losing final. The real tension stemmed from fundamentally different visions for their futures. Mia, approaching what many considered her athletic prime, wanted desperately to pursue single success, chasing individual glory and Grand Slam titles that doubles partnerships, however successful, simply couldn't provide. Talia, still recovering psychologically from her earlier injury, viewed their partnership as essential stability, a source of security and continued success she wasn't ready to abandon. Neither player had ever honestly communicated these diverging priorities to the other, instead allowing frustration and misunderstanding to accumulate silently over many months until it finally erupted publicly. Close friends of both players revealed that beneath the public drama existed genuine affection and respect that had simply gotten buried under professional pressures neither had adequately addressed. In a surprising turn, both players eventually released a joint statement acknowledging their very public disagreement while expressing hope for eventual reconciliation, whether as partners or simply as friends who had shared an extraordinary journey together. They confirmed they would compete separately for the remainder of the season, giving both space to pursue individual goals without the complicated dynamics of their partnership clouding their decisions. Fans reacted with a mixture of relief and sadness, grateful for honesty but mourning the end of an era that had brought so much excitement to women's tennis. Whether Mia and Talia ever reunite on court remains uncertain, but their story serves as a powerful reminder that even the strongest partnerships require honest communication, and that unspoken resentment, left unaddressed for too long, can shatter even the most golden of friendships in a single explosive moment. If you enjoyed this latest tennis update and want to stay ahead of the biggest stories in the world, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to World Zone right now. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss a moment of the action. See you in the next video.